Hello everyone and welcome back to the Colorado Rockies franchise. As you can see, the Rockies have finished 51 and 111 and have failed to make the playoffs, surprisingly, with that record. And the regular season has come to an end and we're into the playoffs. Here's the playoff bracket. The Braves are the 1 seed, the Dodgers the 2 seed, the Cubs made the 3 seed, Arizona is the 4 seed, Philly is the 5 seed, and Pittsburgh is the 6 seed. And on the AL side, it's Baltimore, Texas, Minnesota, Houston, New York, and Seattle. And after the first series, it is 2-0 Arizona over Philly. They advance to play Atlanta, and the Cubs beat Pittsburgh. They advance to play the Dodgers. Minnesota will be playing the Rangers, and the Yankees upset the 4-seeded Astros to play Baltimore in the ALDS. The Yard Goats, our AA team, have won the Eastern League Championship Series. Can you believe that? Our AA team is pretty nasty, it seems. For some reason, when the regular season ends, it resets your roster though. So Amador is up at the MLB level for some reason. Arizona just swept the 1-seeded Braves to go on to the NLCS. And the Cubs 3-1 over the Dodgers. It's Diamondbacks Cubs in the NLCS. That is crazy. And it will be Minnesota and New York in the ALCS. So the 1 and 2 seed on both sides of the bracket got upset. So it's Minnesota, New York, Arizona, Chicago. And it's going to be Diamondbacks Yankees in the World Series. The Diamondbacks sweeping the Cubs in 4 games. Minnesota brought it back from down 3-1, but the Yankees end up clutching that one up. So Yankees, Diamondbacks in the World Series. Game 1 goes to the Yankees. Game 2 goes to the Yankees. Game 3 goes to the Diamondbacks. Game 4 goes to the Diamondbacks. Game 5 to the Diamondbacks. Do they get it done? They're in the World Series for back-to-back seasons. This might be their year. It's game number 6. The Diamondbacks have won the World Series over the New York Yankees in 2024. They make it to back-to-back World Series, and this time they finish it off. They get it done, and an NL West team has won the World Series. Here are the retirements. The one we care about the most is if Charlie Blackmon actually decided to retire. I'm anticipating that he did not, and I am correct. Charlie Blackmon did not retire and is still eligible to be a Colorado Rocky into the next season. No 2024 Hall of Fame inductees. And here's our exclusive free agents. Charlie Blackmon is on the list. He wants $2.2 million a year. Do we bring him back? I just don't think that we should. He's 38. He regressed tremendously. At best, he can be a starter against righties. He's got still decent plate discipline and vision. I don't think we can re-sign Charlie Blackmon. As much as it pains me, I think we have to let him walk. I think it's time for Charlie Blackmon and the Colorado Rockies to part ways. And I actually don't think he'll be signed by anyone just because he's 38 and 68 overall. And I don't really think I'm going to be offering anything to any of these guys. We could for Diaz because we don't really have a catcher going forward, but I might wait until free agency to actually offer anything to anyone. Definitely not offering anything to Daniel Bard, who is even older than Charlie Blackmon. Peyton Battenfield is interesting. He's 27 with C potential. He's 64 overall. This regression is because he was a free agent at some point during the season, but he's a starting pitcher that is relatively young, and we have a team option, and it's $900,000, but I think I'm going to exercise this option. Jacob Stallings is also not going to be receiving a contract. He is 35 and he has D potential. I think it's time to make some changes to this coaching staff. Like, first and foremost, Ron Gideon, why are you even here? None of the other guys are nearly as bad, but I'm still not a fan of Bud Black. -2 contact and -3 power. We'd have to pay him $2 million in order to fire him. I think I'm gonna do that. I am going to look to hire Giancarlo Vaccaro as our manager. $20 million over 4 years, $5 million a year. We also have to hire a new hitting coach and a new first base coach. I'm going to go after Alexander Ratto. I like him a lot. -2 to bunting, but who cares about that? +2 plate vision, +2 contact, and +3 power. $5.5 million over 3 years will be my offer to Alexander. I like him a lot. And then a first base coach as well. And I'm going to go after Andres Novoa for a similar reason to our manager, because he has nothing negative. And I think I'm going to fire our farm director as well. I want to get a really good farm director for these up and coming guys in our farm system. Now let's go after Mitch Newby, who has an A attribute grade. He's only 43 and he has no negatives. Alexander Ratto has accepted the Marlins offer as the hitting coach and is no longer considering the Rockies. Mitch Newby, though, accepted to be our farm director. Andres Novoa has accepted our offer to be the first base coach. Trevor Bass is our new hitting coach. Fantastic. Giancarlo Vaccaro has accepted the Pirates offer as manager, and now we gotta find a different guy to go after. I hate this. And really quickly, just so everybody knows, I did undo the Bobby Witt Jr. trade. He is back where he belongs on the Kansas City Royals. It was actually relatively easy to do it. I just made him terrible, traded for him, made him good again, traded for the players that the Cardinals gave to the Royals, and then traded those players back to the Cardinals. So I ended up just kind of being a middleman for undoing the trade. That trade just made 0 sense, so I have undone it. Bobby Witt Jr. back where he belongs with the Royals. By the way, we can officially see our guys on the team. Barry Cohen, part of the team, 18 years old, already 81 overall. Very, very good player, and we're really happy to have him on the team. I think he has to be at the MLB level day one at 18 years old, because I mean, look at these hitting stats. Also, I'm freeing up a bunch of roster spots, and I'm going to release a couple of these pitchers that I don't think we need anymore. I'm going to release Austin Gomber, definitely, and then I might release Dakota Hudson as well. I think that I will. He has D potential. He's 30 years old and he sucks, and he was by far our worst pitcher at the MLB level all season. I think he's gone. So here's the arbitration period. I just released Austin Gomber and Dakota Hudson, so I'm not even sure why they're here. I actually don't hate offering Cal like a 3-year deal. It's only a little bit more per year than his arbitration anyway, and it gives us a guy who's going to be a quality starter for the next 3 seasons while we build up this Rockies team, and we could always have him be a trade piece. So I don't mind signing Quantrill at all to a sort of longer term contract. We're just going to go straight up $20 million over 3 years as a rotation arm. We could honestly do something similar with Brendan Rodgers. He's 28 now. He doesn't want a ton of money per year. It would cost me less per year to do arbitration, and he's likely not a long-term solution at 75 overall. His potential dropped to a B, which is kind of brutal. I think I'm just going to give Brendan Rodgers arbitration. It's going to cost me a decent bit less. I'm going to go up to $4 million. I think that's about what he's worth, and he's probably getting traded next season. So I've offered arbitration to everyone I want to offer to. I'm going to let Jake Bird, Sam Hilliard, Dakota Hudson, and Austin Gomber leave, and Cal Quantrill I haven't offered arbitration to because I offered him a more long-term deal. All right, that took a hot minute, but I got through the renewable stuff, offered contracts to anyone I wanted to extend. I just released a ton of players. We're now down to 80 total players on the team so that I could make room for this free agency period. Let's see who is available. Juan Soto, easily the biggest name available here. Pete Alonso is available. I knew he'd be a free agent, but obviously we just got Barry Cohen, so there's no need for him. Tanner Scott, don't really want a closing pitcher for a team that's going to be horrendous. Corbin Burns is available. That's an interesting one. He's 30 years old though, so he's a bit outside of our window. I think there's an argument to be made for Jordan Montgomery, who actually sat as a free agent all of last season. There's also Walker Buehler if we want to steal a guy that was on the Dodgers. The guy I'm most interested in actually is Jack Flaherty, the former starter from the Detroit Tigers. A potential, 29 years old, still has some room to grow. I think that he is a good fit for the Rockies. He's kind of just an all-around pitcher, not great at any one thing, but he would add a lot of depth to this rotation that we don't currently have. have, I'm going to offer Flaherty a contract. He's 29 years old, so I don't mind giving him like a 3-year deal at the moment. And he wants 7.4 million a year. So let's give him what he wants. And we'll tell him he's going to be a rotational guy, which actually makes him more interested. And we will submit a 3-year offer for Jack Flaherty. Jordan Montgomery wants a lot of money per year, and I wouldn't want him for very long. I'm kind of looking for a guy to hold us over for 1 or 2 more years while some of our prospects come up through the system. So I don't know if Jordan Montgomery is much of a fit. What about a guy like Mike Soroka? 27 years old, B potential, 73 overall. I think he could be a worthwhile addition. And in fact, we could sign him for a decently long contract. The longer the contract is, the more money Soroka wants, though. The White Sox are offering him pretty crappy 5.2 mil over a year. So why don't we offer him 5.5 for a year and tell him he's going to be a rotation guy? That way, since it's a 1-year contract, we don't have to worry so much about him taking over a starting spot from a prospect that might come up. I'll send that offer to Mike Soroka, and then I think that's the only 2 I'm going to offer to for starting pitchers for now. We have guys who can start in the system, and I don't want to bring in too many guys to take over spots that could be taken by developmental pieces. I do, however, really want to get our bullpen better, and I think that we can do that here in this offseason. One guy I'm super interested in is Jonathan Loaizaga, and I'd love to bring him in for a number of years. I'd go 3 years for Loaizaga, and I would give him 3 mil a year to hopefully be up on the Yankees. He likes our offer a lot more than he likes the Yankees offer. And what about another Yankee? Caleb Ferguson, just a couple spots above him. He's a lefty, and we don't have nearly enough of those in the bullpen. He's only 28, so we could offer him an even longer contract. I'd be happy to give him a 5-year contract, get him through his age 33 season, give him 3.2 mil a year, and let him know he's going to be a bullpen guy. And what about a guy like Andrew Chafin, maybe? He is 34, but he has high K per 9 and hit per 9, which is something that is beneficial for being a Rocky pitcher. He has great control, and he doesn't want a ton of money. I'm going to give him a 2-year deal worth about what he wants, which is 2.1 million, and he's going to be another bullpen guy. I think he is absolutely an excellent fit, and he's another lefty. So we need a catcher really, really bad. We have Drew Romo as our top catcher in the system right now, and he is 65 overall. I'm a big fan of Francisco Mejia, and I may offer him a contract. There's also Danny Jansen, who we could offer a contract to as well. I think in general, I'm a bigger fan of Jansen, but he wants so much money. He wants 8.8 million a year. What about Carson Kelly? He's got high discipline, relatively good vision, decent power against lefties specifically. His OBP is 305. It looks like he draws a decent number of walks. We could go after him. I'm going to offer a 3-year deal to Carson Kelly for 3.5 million and let him know that he's going to be an everyday player. I'm also considering going after Alex Verdugo, another Yankee, because I talked about sending down Brenton Doyle because his bat is so bad, and Verdugo could be the starter in center field for sure. He could also just start in left field if we feel like Fernandez isn't ready. Let's give Verdugo a 2-year deal worth 4.6 million a year, which he is a little bit more interested in than the offer he got from the Yankees. And I think that if I do in fact send Doyle back down into the system to get a little bit better with the bat next season, Verdugo would be pretty much the everyday starter in center, especially against righties. He's really good against righties, -10 against lefties. He must have been awful against lefties this season. Does have really good plate vision though at 85, and a lot better discipline than a lot of our team at 52. Plus, he's a decent fielder. He's just not particularly fast. I've been looking for a backup middle infielder, and I think Ahmed Rosario is that guy. He has a potential. He's only 29, 75 overall. He can play third, short, left, right field, and of course second base. I think he'd be a huge addition to the team. Maybe not an everyday player, but an exceptional backup that could probably DH when he's not out in the field. I'd like to make him an offer. So here's the offers I have so far: Andrew Chafin, Jack Flaherty, Caleb Ferguson, Jonathan Loaizaga, Ahmed Rosario, Alex Verdugo, Mike Soroka, Carson Kelly, DeAndre Washington, and Luis Acosta. These last two are guys that I just saw that were super young and have high potential. So even though they're low overall, they're young and they have good potential. Acosta's only 47 overall, but he's only 18 as well. Pete Alonso immediately signs, and he signs with the Rays. So they've got their first baseman for the foreseeable future. 5 years, $14.4 million a year for a guy like Pete Alonso is extremely affordable. So we did get Acosta and DeAndre Washington. These are our offers still on the table, which I think means, yeah, we did get Jack Flaherty. We got Jonathan Loaizaga. We got Alex Verdugo. We got two of our Yankees. We also got Chafin. Our bullpen is looking a lot better for next season. Now we're just waiting on Ferguson, Rosario, Soroka, and Carson Kelly. Do we maybe get a different catcher as well? But Danny Jansen is gone. Gary Sanchez is still available. Or we could get Mejia, who is basically never going to walk with the 37 discipline, but will hit for a higher average more likely, especially against lefties. Or we just stick with Carson Kelly, who is not great with the bat, but has 68 discipline. So his OBP, which was 305 this past season, should be relatively good. Mejia is not getting very good offers from the Rays or the White Sox. So I'm going to offer Mejia a 2-year deal worth about $3.5 million a year and see if he'd be interested in that, because then we'd have him and Carson Kelly. And while that kind of blocks the path a little bit for Drew Romo, he's about a year away from being able to start anyway. So I think this would hold us over for the year, and then we'd have Mejia for the following year as well, and then Drew Romo would probably be ready. That's what we're going to do. Mejia and Carson Kelly both have offers. And Pedro Sixto is the guy that is going to be our manager going forward. Corbin Burns is a St. Louis Cardinal. The 30-year-old signs a 5-year deal worth $15.9 million per year. We also got Caleb Ferguson to sign officially. Mike Soroka has signed. Francisco Mejia has signed. And Carson Kelly has signed. So there's the catcher situation fixed. Kevin Kiermaier has absolutely no offers at the moment. He's old, but what does he want for a 1-year deal? 7.4 mil? Yeah, that's not going to happen. I would offer Kiermaier a super cheap deal, like 4 mil for a year, at least cheap in his opinion. And then that way I get a guy who is a really good fielder to replace Brenton Doyle so that he can be at AAA or AA for a season to get his bat a little bit better. I'm going to offer him this contract. I feel like it's kind of insulting, but maybe he'll take it. I know we got Alex Verdugo to potentially do that, but I don't think it hurts to have more options. Plus, we don't have a lot of depth in the outfield currently, other than guys who are kind of up and coming. Ahmed Rosario has decided to sign with the Colorado Rockies. We still have that absolutely horrendous offer for Kevin Kiermaier, but we'll see if he even bothers taking it. Clay Holmes has signed with the Marlins, $3.2 million a year over 3 years. That offer for Kiermaier is still on the table. Brandon Drury is a Blue Jay, 2 years, $23.4 million deal. Juan Soto looking to probably be a Pittsburgh Pirate. I'm going to offer one more starting pitcher contract, and that's Glenn Otto. He's really cheap over 1 year, and he's only 29, and he'd be one of the best starters in our rotation, sadly. I'm going to offer him $1 million. Glenn Otto has signed, so it looks like we're actually going to have a not horrifically terrible starting rotation next season, which is kind of nice. This gives us the freedom to probably send Satchel Paige down to the minors and let him develop a little bit more, as well as keep guys like Dollander and Priester down at the minors, and we don't have to rush them to the majors right away. I think this is a net positive. Like, it's a bunch of 70 overall guys, don't get me wrong, but we started with like a 50-something overall starter last season, so it is what it is. It's a lot better than it was before. The Diamondbacks have signed Walker Buehler. Of course, the Diamondbacks got Walker Buehler. Here we are. We're at the 2024 draft lottery. Let's go to the draft lottery. We have a 16.5% chance for the #1 pick, along with the White Sox and the Marlins. Please, fingers crossed, let us get the first overall pick. Here we go. We drop all the way to 5th. That is ridiculous. The White Sox get 1, the Mets get 2, the Nats get 3. We go all the way down to 5th overall. It's still a really good pick, but we should have been first. So here's the Rule 5 draft. I don't know that we really need anything at the moment. I'm also concerned about us potentially losing players. Looks like we actually don't have a pick in the Rule 5 round 1 draft. We, for some reason, didn't get a pick in the Rule 5 draft. I don't know why that happens. If somebody knows why I wouldn't have gotten a pick in the Rule 5 draft, let me know. I would have loved to at least taken a look at players available. The Brewers have swept in, and they're probably going to steal Kevin Kiermaier. 6.4 mil over a year. Yeah, I can't really match that. I mean, I definitely could match that. I have the money to match that. Is it worth it though for Kiermaier for 1 year? He's been pretty good, at least in terms of on base percentage with Toronto the last couple seasons. Not a big home run guy, but gets on base. Could be like a 1 or 2 hitter. I think would honestly replace the production of Charlie Blackmon to an extent. I think it might actually be worth it. And then I can send Doyle down. This could be dumb. We could just play Brenton Doyle in the field. His bat is just so terrible that I really want to send him down to AAA or AA. And I know we got Verdugo, and we could have it be Verdugo in left, Kiermaier in center. I am going to offer Kiermaier like 6.8 for a year, so a little bit more than the Brewers, and he can be sort of a bridge guy in center field for 1 season. I may also go after Michael A. Taylor if we can't get Kiermaier. Juan Soto, a big twist, looking like he was going to sign with the Pirates, is now a Blue Jay. So they've got quite the roster now. The Astros acquire Ha-Sung Kim from the Padres, a 29-year-old shortstop. They get Josh Hader and Framber Valdez. Tanner Scott is a Cardinal. So the Cardinals making a lot of moves during free agency. And we do actually land Kevin Kiermaier. I think that this is a pretty significant pickup for us. It's obviously not a long-term thing. He's not part of the rebuild necessarily. He's here to play in center field for 1 season and allow us to send Brenton Doyle down to probably AA to get better with the bat. Because look at these hitting stats for Brenton Doyle. That is ridiculous. He hit 192 with a 232 OBP last season. We need better, and I think Kiermaier can be that for 1 season while Doyle improves down at AA or AAA, and then we bring Doyle back up as Kiermaier leaves. I think it makes perfect sense, honestly. He's a bridge quarterback in a sense. And that officially brings us to the arbitration hearings. Jalen Beeks' arbitration panel sided with Beeks, so he will be at $2.2 million for 2025. Justin Lawrence's hearing was today. They have sided with Lawrence. He'll be at $1.3 million. Gilbreth has sided with Gilbreth, $1 million next year. Brendan Rodgers will get $3.9 million in arbitration. And Max Fried has signed with the Angels. 31 years old, 86 overall starting pitcher. Had a great season last season with 18 wins and 7 losses. Peter Lambert gets $1.8 million for the next season. John Curtis will get $1 million for next season. And there you have it. The offseason has come to an end. I think that this Rockies team has improved significantly. We're up to rank 25 now instead of 30th. Barry Cohen not currently on the 40-man roster. He probably should be, and he should probably even be the starter at first base this season because the next best guy is Eleris Montero. And to be honest with you, he is just good enough to start out the gate. So we're going to remove Schreiber from the 40-man to then bring Cohen onto the 40-man and allow him to be at the MLB level for spring training. And he's the presumptive starter at first base this season. I mean, how can you not with numbers like this and how bad this Rockies team is? And then it'll kind of be a battle for second place between Montero, Tolia, and Goodman. I'm tempted to have it be Tolia or Goodman just because they can play secondary positions that I need and Montero cannot. He only plays third base. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate the continued support. In the next episode, we'll kind of finalize the 40-man roster, decide who is playing in spring training, and then play spring training. So I'll see you guys in the next episode where we'll get ready for season 2 of the Colorado Rockies franchise.